Hey everybody, welcome back to Touchy Reactions. Sabaton Army, I got another good one for you today. We're going to be checking out the song Panzerkampf. This was requested by Shamrock Shanks a while back, and we are finally getting around to it. This was one of the songs that my patrons voted on over on the Patreon that they wanted to see sooner than later. So we bumped it up the schedule, and here we go. We're going to be doing Panzerkampf. I got 3 videos I'm going to be doing today. I got the official Sabaton music video. We're going to be watching the Sabaton History, and then we're going to wrap it up with the Wacken 2019 live performance that looked amazing when I was queuing it up. So that's the schedule for today. Before we jump into the video, just want to take a second to thank everybody that's been supporting the channel, liking the videos, subscribing to the channel, joining the Patreon, contributing in the comments section, telling me what songs I need to check out, telling me what I screwed up, what I dropped today. I dropped Live Gardette today, and I found out that there was a second history to Live Gardette that I did not react to. So I make mistakes over here sometimes, you know. I try though. I try to do my research and make sure I got everything covered. So I'll get better. I'll get better and not miss these things in the future. So forgiveness, please. All right. Let's go ahead and jump into this first video. This is going to be the official music lyric video from Sabaton for the song Panzerkampf. I have no idea what this song's about. I have no idea what it sounds like. Let me make sure the volume is up. All right, looking good. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and jump into Panzerkampf by Sabaton. Here we go. That's the art of war.
Into the motherland, the German army march. As far as I can see, ready for the onslaught, ready for the fight, waiting for the access to march into the trap. Minds are placed in darkness, in the cover of the night, waiting to be triggered when the time is right. Imminent invasion, imminent attack. Once the battle started, there's no turning back. The end of the Third Reich draws near. Its time has come to an end. The end of an era is near. It's time to attack. Into the motherland, the German army march. Side by side, Scotland lost in charge. Panzers of Russians with 100 in the east. 1 million men at war, Soviet rock unleashed. Fields of Prokhorovka.
All right, so far, it's a good song, really good song. The flow is good, the rhythm's good, the rhyming's good, the scheme is good. It's talking about the end of the Second World War, I'm guessing here, where the Russian, on the, what is that, the eastern flank pushed into Berlin and helped end the World War II. Music sounds great, lyrics sound great. I like the story so far, and double thumbs up over here.
The heat of battle burned, suffered heavy losses, the tide of war was turned. Driving back the Germans, fighting on the front, hunt them out of Russia, out of Soviet land.
The Germans made a pretty good chunk of, they pushed into Russia pretty deep during World War II. So to be able to turn them around and push them back, it's just really hard to fight on so many different fronts around all of Europe when you got everybody coming at you from all sides. It's hard to make sure your troops are supplied, and you know, you've really got to have great generals and a great tactics and great plans in order to be able to put up with that many different fronts going on at once. And you know, ultimately that's what led to their demise.
Reinforced the front line, was the Axis to retreat.
What a very catchy hook on this song. Very good. Wow. Wow. Man, never know what you're going to get with a Sabaton song. That was a really good one. This might be in my top 10. This might be a top 10 song for me. I've only heard it once. I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment, as they say over on Keto Abashi's channel. But I like this song a lot. Very good. All right, let's check out this history. Let's see who's on it. We got, Power from Sabaton and Indy Nidell. Indy, if you're out there, brother, if you're watching these reactions by some chance, you happen to stumble across Touchy Reactions and you're watching one of these, I need that new album, bro. The new album dropped like 2 months ago, and I can't react to any of the songs or hear any of the songs off the new album that just came out until you drop these histories. So I need you to get to work, man. Get to work, crank these histories out. Please. All right. That's enough begging, Indy. All right. This is the Sabaton History number 3. This is the third one they did. So they were still trying to figure out how they wanted to do this. They got a really cool set design going on here. Panzerkampf, the Battle of Kursk, Sabaton History number 3. And here, let me turn this down a little bit. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
I'm Indy Nidell.
And I'm Pat from Sabaton, and this is Sabaton History.
One of the largest tank battles in history, in 1943 in World War II, resulted in the Soviet Union gaining the initiative on the Eastern Front, which it would hold until the end of the war.
And our song Panzerkampf became one of the most unexpected Sabaton popular songs we ever did.
Into the motherland, the German army march.
The Panzerkampf was fought between the Wehrmacht and the Red Army, and here's the story behind it.
The Russian counteroffensives that had begun in November 1942 had pushed the Germans not only mostly out of the Caucasus, but also crossed into eastern Ukraine and southern Belarus. By March 1943, they had created a large salient deep into the German front lines between the cities of Orel and Kharkov. This was the Kursk salient and was an obvious target for German high command. By cutting off the salient, they would not only shorten the front line, but also trap a large amount of Russian soldiers and material. Such a success would give the Germans time to rebuild after the recent losses at Stalingrad. Both the forces of Army Group South, led by General Feldmarschall Erich von Manstein, and those of Army Group North under Generaloberst Walter Model were to perform a massive pincer movement that would smash through on both sides of the salient and encircle the troops inside. But many German generals expressed doubts. See, the Russian army of 1943 was not the same army they so easily outmaneuvered in 1941. By now, the Soviets were much more competent in using their deep battle doctrine, and they were already preparing a summer offensive to use the salient to their own advantage, since they also knew of the German plans. The British had cracked the German ciphers and given intel to the Soviets, so Stavka, Russian High Command, had convinced Stalin to delay the Soviet offensive until after the Germans had exhausted their own against the Russian defenses. Then the Soviet counteroffensive would easily punch through the German lines and collapse the whole army group center.
Just goes to show how important intelligence is during a battle, to find out exactly all the information you can find out and use those tactics against your enemy. They were, which video? Wolfpack. When I did Wolfpack, they were talking about, they interviewed some of the German U-boat captains, and they were just blown away at how much intelligence the Allies had about their Wolfpack and all the stuff they were doing. They said they knew everything. They knew the generals. They knew the captains. They knew the ships. They knew our positions, and all we knew was they were the enemy. So yeah, intelligence plays a huge role in victories in war.
Tanks line up in thousands, that's far I can see. Ready for the onslaught, ready for the fight, waiting for the access to march into the trap.
So, tens of thousands of Russian workers began building an enormous defense-in-depth system, digging trenches and tank traps on 5,000 kilometers of front line.
Wow.
The defense was centered mostly on strong points manned by rifle battalions. Each also had 4.5 centimeter anti-tank guns. Russian pioneers lay up to 1 million mines all around the salient, both anti-personnel and anti-tank mines, mostly in front of their forward line. Red Army General Konstantin Rokossovsky had also a strong mobile defense force that would engage the Germans if they managed to penetrate the front lines. All in all, the Soviet forces enjoyed at least a 2-to-1 advantage in men, tanks, artillery, and aircraft. Von Manstein disregarded those numbers since he still believed in the inferior quality of the Soviet troops. Model was less optimistic and very much against the whole operation, but despite his doubts, Adolf Hitler and German High Command urged him to concentrate all his forces and attack from the north. Model, however, prepared for a possible Russian counterattack and held the 2nd Panzer Armee around the city of Orel in reserve. He also prepared the Hagenstellung, a defensive line the Germans could fall back on if everything went to hell. On July 5th, 1943, the German offensive began. Okay, it actually began with a Soviet artillery barrage that rained down on the German front lines. See, the day before, captured German soldiers had revealed the exact hour the offensive would begin, so tactical surprise was lost. Still, the German forces were soon moving toward the Russian lines under their own opening barrage of heavy artillery, mortars, and Nebelwerfer rockets. As usual, the advance was spearheaded by the German tank divisions and mobile Sturm divisions, but the minefields and the Soviet resistance slowed them down. However, the Germans had sent new weapon systems into the battle. Ferdinand tank destroyers could outrange their Russian counterparts, and German pioneers led radio-controlled demolition tanks into the minefields to clear the path. Well-positioned Tiger tanks could destroy whole groups of Russian tanks that were sent out in premature counterattacks. In the air, the superior German FW-190As were able to suppress the Russian fighter and bomber attacks, despite their disadvantage in numbers. So, as the days dragged on, the German advance took out several major strongpoints, and they even penetrated the first line of Rokossovski's defenses. But the large defensive system slowly but steadily whittled away the German forces. Tanks were damaged by the mines, and the relentless Russian artillery caused heavy casualties among the German infantry. German tank losses weren't actually as high as Russian sources may suggest. Only around 10% of Model's tanks were lost, for example. The others took light damage, mostly to their tracks, which could usually be repaired in the field. Nonetheless, the Soviets achieved what they hoped for. They blunted the German spear, all while the Russian tank armies were building up for their own killing blow. On the 11th of August, Model finally called off the fruitless offensive. Only the elite SS Panzer divisions Totenkopf, Das Reich, and Leibstandarte in the south were still making progress as they reached the fields near a small village called Prokhorovka. The Stavka wanted to attack now, before Model could redeploy his panzers. The long-awaited counterattack, Operation Kutuzov, would set loose the Russian tank armies. Early in the morning of the 12th, Operation Kutuzov began. In the south, those SS Panzer divisions were surprised by a wave of armor that was heading their way. Some 500 tanks that attacked the unprepared Germans. The backbone of the Russian tank force was the upgraded T-34-76 model, which made around 70% of the tanks. But most of the rest was made out of light tanks. Only a few heavy KV tanks were there. The Germans had far fewer tanks, not even 300, but those SS divisions were the first to receive the Tiger and Panther models that outclassed the T-34 in range and whose armor could not be penetrated by the lighter tanks. And yet, in larger groups, the T-34 was still extremely dangerous. The tanks clashed on the fields of Prokhorovka. The German tanks desperately fought off the Soviet tanks at point-blank range. German Panzer Grenadiers even resorted to ramming them with their half-tracks. Despite heavy losses, though, the Soviets forced the Germans to retreat. In the north, the counteroffensive began with a massive artillery strike, obliterating much of the German forward positions of the 2nd Panzer Armee. The Soviet counterattack here would be even more deadly than in the south. Model's foresight had paid off, and the 2nd Panzer Armee was able to fend off the first wave of Russian tanks attacking towards Orel. But this was just the initial engagement. The overwhelming Russian artillery and armor soon broke into the German positions all over the front, and Model was forced to pull back just to prevent encirclement, without even waiting for authorization from Hitler. However, the Soviets failed to exploit their advantage, nor realize how close the German defenses were to collapsing. So the Germans managed a fighting retreat. As the Red Army captured the major prize of Orel,
I love the graphics that they use here on Sabaton History. They really help you visualize what was going on. Very well done, putting them over tops of the maps, using the different division names and such. Just beautifully done to the graphics department over there at Sabaton History. Great job.
on August 5th, the German army retreated into their Hagen position, and it was that which ultimately saved them. German high command was now forced to face the fact that the German army was not able to fight high-intensity battles on such a large scale any longer. The offensive had been a disaster, for not only did it not bring victory, it cost the German army the strategic initiative on the Eastern Front, and they would never regain it. The offensive had cost the Russians dearly, yes, and losses were perhaps 4 times higher than those of the Germans, but the Russians could replace their losses, which the Germans by this time could not. The Russians were on the offensive for good.
So yeah, I'm sure I covered this in previous reaction videos, but I never realized how huge the amount of losses were for Russia. Russia lost more people than anyone. Matter of fact, it's possible they may have lost more than all the other countries combined. Russia was just dumping soldiers into the war. They had it seemed like an unlimited amount of soldiers that they could just keep feeding, and as the front lines get destroyed, there's a whole nother wave coming in right behind them. And that's one thing I definitely learned through watching these Sabaton history videos is I never really looked at the sacrifice that was made by Russia during World War II as far as the amount of lives lost. And it's really tragic that they lost that many, but it was because they had so many that they were able to hold up that Eastern Front and keep Germany contained. So.
Now, Panzerkampf is from the album Art of War, but it was not one of the singles or anything, right?
No, it was very interesting that we didn't believe so much in the song Panzerkampf initially.
Okay.
And there were so many songs that we felt that were more stronger on the Art of War album. Even though this album is now over 10 years,
Yeah.
this specific song can climb to the position number 1 of all Sabaton songs.
Panzerkampf!
So why do you suppose that is? What is it about it that you think resonates with people?
I think that the song represents a lot that is Sabaton.
Right?
It has a huge scale battle. Tanks. More tanks. And even more tanks. And most tanks. A lot of our fans, this is what they want to hear about. Also, it has the power, the sing-along things.
Yeah.
Very powerful chorus.
Thinking even back before that, when you guys wrote the song, was it written to be a typical Sabaton song with tanks and stuff? Or was it...
I gotta say, Pear looks pretty damn amazing in that leather jacket. The collar on that thing is just stupendous. Very nice.
Were you specifically thinking about that battle?
We were specifically thinking about that battle because all the songs on the Art of War represents one of the chapters in the scripts.
Right.
The Art of War.
The Sabaton album, The Art of War, is named after one of the world's classic pieces of literature. It is traditionally attributed to the ancient Chinese military leader Sun Tzu, though some of it likely dates from before his time. It's roughly 2,500 years old, and though it is ancient military strategy, it is in many ways timeless and has applications beyond the military, such as in business, law, and even sports.
Yep.
This is because its 13 chapters do not only deal with things like waging war or incendiary attacks, but also include the use of spies, identifying weak spots, and strategic planning. Basically, winning the fight without having to engage in battle, outsmarting your opponent. It is required reading for executives at many Japanese companies, is recommended reading for all U.S. military intelligence personnel, was widely studied by the KGB, and Bill Belichick, head coach of the NFL's New England Patriots, who just won their record 6th Super Bowl under him, has used the lessons of the Art of War in his strategic preparations for football games. Again, one of the most influential texts in history.
I think you can actually find a free version of the audio book for The Art of War online. So if you're interested in checking out the book, but you're not really a big reader, you can go download the audio book version of it. It may even be on YouTube. I haven't checked, but it's not a really long book. It's pretty short. You can probably get through it in a couple of hours, the audio book portion of it. And it's really got some interesting strategy and stuff that you can use in all different facets of your life. So yeah, if you're interested in checking it out, it's out there.
That was Panzerkampf, chapter number 9 from The Art of War. See you next week.
On the Sabaton History Channel.
All right.
All right, everyone. Remember to subscribe to Sabaton History, the regular Sabaton channel. Check out World War II and Time Ghost as well, all right? Right here, we got a playlist. More videos like this. It's good. You want to click this. And also, remember to support us on Patreon. That's what makes things like this happen. Take care and see you on the road.
Yes, definitely support Sabaton on Patreon. We need to get these Sabaton histories cranked out for all their music. So get out there and make a little donation to Sabaton on Patreon. All right, let's go ahead and check out this live. I'm so happy. You know, you never know what's going to come out of one of these Sabaton reactions, whether or not you're going to like it or not. And this is definitely one that I like. And I could just see me right now walking around the house singing this. Into the motherland, the German army marched. Very catchy, very well written. Love the song. All right, let's check out this live. This was Wacken 2019, before COVID came in and screwed up all our concerts. This crowd looks amazing. This is when they had the double stages. Let's go ahead and jump into this. Here we go.
Oh, special night, Wacken. Very, very special night for us. But I think it's time now, since we have Daniel, and Richard here. Should we do something a little bit more old school, than at least a decade old or older, right? You know, when you think of Sabaton, well, you think about the Swedish village people in camel pants, basically. But I guess you also think of tanks. Let's do a song about tanks from the Auto War. Let's do Panzerkampf! Into the motherland, the German army marched. Tanks line up in thousands, as far as I can see. Ready for the onslaught, ready for the fight, waiting for the access to march into the draft. Minds are placed in darkness, in the cover of the night, waiting to be triggered when the time is right. Healing resignation, healing and attack. Once the battle started, there's no turning back. We have known the third that was near. It's time has come to an end. The emperor has said, it's time to attack. Into the motherland, the German army march. Conquerors, the time by side, from the Nazi jump. Answers for Russian soil, under the 1 million men at war, took the ground complete. Heat of the Morocco, the heat of battle burn. Suffered heavy losses, and the tide of war was turned. Blinded like the Germans, fighting on four fronts. Pumped them out of Russia, out of Soviet land. Reinforced the front line, but the Axis to retreat. Sending all the reasons, securing the defeat. Soldiers of the Union, through the Six Hotel. Ruins all around me, the Axis rest in hell. We have come the German was near. It's time has come to an end. We have no one here on his head. It's time to attack. Into the motherland, the German army march. Conquerors, side by side, and so the Nazi jump. Answers for Russian soul.
I wonder how they determine which artist or which guitarists are going to get the guitar solos during these songs. Do they just like trade up between different songs? Because they got like 4 lead guitarists on stage for these 2 different stages. So I guess Tommy got to do the first half, and I believe this guy's name is Tommy or something, Tome or Thom, something like that. But he's from the original band, so I guess they're sharing time. Maybe on the next one it'll be Chris and someone else. I don't know, but I've always wondered about that. I've also wondered how they keep the sound good from 2 different stages that far apart. Because you got to have the drummers synced up, you got to have the guitars synced up, the mics, all that kind of stuff. It had to be a real logistical challenge to get all that to work right, for it to sound correct in the crowd. Because sound doesn't travel as fast as it should, or as light does, that kind of stuff. So you got to really get everything synced up. Anyway, I'm rambling.
It's time has come to an end. The end of an era is here. It's time to return.
Now I know they're not going to do this, but I wish right here all the music would just drop out and they would do the "Into the Motherland, the German Army March" with just Joachim singing it and the crowd singing it. That would just be so cool of a way to do that. Sabaton doesn't do that very much though, but that would be something cool they could do live. Nice. All right. That's it. That is the song Panzerkampf by Sabaton. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. All right. So shout out to Shamrock Shanks, who requested this originally. That was a great song. Kind of wish I'd have gotten to it earlier, because that one's definitely going to jump in the rotation here at the house. I enjoyed it quite a bit. If you guys enjoyed this reaction, give me a like down below. Help your brother out over here on YouTube, putting in the time, putting in these reactions. Just give me a like. Doesn't hurt you at all, and it helps me out a lot. It makes me feel good when people like my videos. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, hit that big red button down below. It'll turn gray, let you know you subscribe to the channel. And if you hit that notification bell off to the side, it'll let you know anytime I drop some new content over here on Touchy Reactions. I'm doing music from all over the world. If you're interested in discovering new groups, new bands, new singers, that kind of stuff, I'm doing stuff from Japan, the Philippines, Australia, Mexico, Canada, Sweden, of course, Finland, all over the world. Africa. I did a rock group from down in Africa. There's some folks on my lineup that are coming up that are going to be from India and that kind of stuff. So I'm checking out artists from all over the place. Russia, So if you're interested in discovering new music, you want to check out some of my other reactions, go ahead and check them out on the channel. I got multiple music video reactions over there. So, and if you're the type of person who might have a little bit of extra money and can support a small channel trying to grow on YouTube, I got a link up here in the corner. It'll take you over to my Patreon page. For simply $1 a month, you can get early access to all of my reactions. Once I record them, I edit them, and I put them immediately up on Patreon, and some of them are there months before they go up on YouTube. So if you want to help support the channel, I appreciate it very much. Thank you very much to all my patrons. You guys are killing it out there, and helping support the channel. I got new software, I got new monitors, new cameras, that kind of stuff. Trying to make these videos look better, sound better for you guys, so that you can enjoy them a little better. And that is all I got for this reaction. The next one I'm doing this weekend is going to be a Russian theme, because the next one I'm doing is Defense of Moscow. That one comes out tomorrow, so let's see, that'll be the 24th. Yeah, so on the 24th of April, Defense of Moscow. So tune in tomorrow, there'll be another one of these. So it's Russian themed weekend for Sabaton. All right, that is all I got for this weekend. I appreciate y'all stopping by, and don't forget to come on back.